So, I had something just pop up that I wanted to do a live about. Because, I have an opportunity. I'm in a commute. I'm in the car. I got a little bit of ways to go. Figure a good opportunity to hop on and connect with everybody. I didn't do my live last night. I needed some rest. I was burnt out. And I did. I got an early night's sleep and I slept through the night. I slept like a baby. And it started storming in the middle of the night, which made me sleep even heavier. But yeah, so anyway, and I don't do anything that's scripted. Nothing to do, any of my videos, any of my lives, nothing is scripted. I don't have a script. I don't have, I just I address current things that I may be dealing with or that I, in my circle are dealing with, or clients. Things that can actually be really beneficial. And I much rather speak from the heart than come up with this artificially researched. I don't know. It just doesn't resonate with me. I know I get the most out of something when it's, a topic about life or something I'm in the moment is being dealt with authentically. Not somebody with some boxed answer, some canned answer that, it's some generic shit. So that's the way I like to deliver it. And I find that, I know for a fact, it's exponentially more helpful if you're in the middle of something in the moment, and in the moment you're able to deliver that message or address that particular state of mind, state of being in that moment while you're in that energy, while you're in that moment. So much more effective. And if you're lucky enough to have somebody who's just gotten through experiencing that or has experienced that or can help you process it, well, that's even better. What's up, Matt? Doing well, man. So this is just going to be a quick live on the drive about emotional regulation and the importance as a man in being emotionally regulated, emotionally mature, emotionally centered. And it's crucial to any situation and relationship that you are that. Like you're the mountain, you're the oak, the mighty oak, where you're staying grounded, where you're staying centered. And in the moments, especially when things tend to want to get heated, or you find yourself getting defensive or angry or stressed, that you can start like an on-site assessment of moment to moment of what you feel you're about to, how you're about to respond, how you're about to react. What should I say? What should I do? Am I going to be defensive? Am I going to be understanding? Like being able to do all this shit on the fly. I mean, this is a life skill that pays dividends thousands of times over through your life, being able to calmly handle conflict. And it can be difficult at times, especially there's other things that are already weighing on you, and you already have other things feeding stirring things up a little bit inside of you. That's when you got to be at your most vigilant, your most careful about how you respond to something next. Because, I mean, you could easily just have things going on in everyday life that are already taking a lot of your stamina. What's up, Darren? Like stress on the job, money, stress on the job, just day-to-day things, dealing with people, having some conflict outside of the home. And then you can be using up your bandwidth and then something happens between you and your spouse where you've kind of run out of room, someone nagging, that's true, Matt, because people will nag. But here's the thing, here's what we can't do as men. Here's what's not allowed as a man. It's for us to fall prey to the chaos. When I say chaos, I mean women's chaotic, erratic, emotional behavior. And this is, some people call it a double standard, but she gets to do this, but I don't know. That's not in the contract for men. It's your job to be the one that stays centered, that stays rooted and calm. The feminine by nature is chaos. The masculine by nature is calm, immovable, right? And so you might say, well, how is that possible? Just like Matt said, someone nagging. Oh, how is that possible? If you got somebody nagging at you, coming at you from all different directions, it's just bitch, 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 bitch. And they're kind of coming after you a little bit, coming after your character or whatever. It's there's a strategy. But you being emotionally and mentally centered, spiritually centered, and physically taken care of. And a lot of people understand, well, what does physical got to do with it? Physical has a lot to do with it. I'm not going to get into all that. But emotionally, mentally, and spiritually centered, which means that when things do go off the rails a little bit, because they will, there will be mistakes that are being made. There will be deadlines missed. There will be customers that aren't happy. There will be people who are rude. There will be workplace situations. There will be situations at home. And what's important to keep in mind, to keep at the forefront, is what good is it going to do me to come unglued, to lose my composure? What good is it going to do me to jump in and start acting like behaving the same exact way that the behavior can contribute to anything? And that's the first question. What is this going to benefit if I fly off the handle? What is this going to benefit if I get defensive? Taking the other person out of the equation entirely, or the other situation entirely, because it may seem like you want justice or it's not fair. And that's all irrelevant. That's beside the point. That's the luxury women get. That's the way women get to think. It's not fair. It's not right. And so the point is it does you no good to jump into that same mindset. Have you ever heard the expression, you can't solve a problem in the same environment it was created in? So just in the context of you and the woman having an argument because she's nagging or she's trying to, when a woman starts coming after you about shit, it's rarely going to be about what she's actually pissed off about or nagging about. It's rarely even going to be about that. That's a great point, Air Force. If someone knocks your mental a millimeter, they're going to act like it's hit a mile. It's exactly right. And from a place of strength, from a position of strength, is where men need to operate from under any circumstance. Look, is it 1,000% of the time going to be that way? No, it's not. It's just not practical to think that any human being on this planet can just take, and be reasonable and be calm and be logical. There will be, as long as that's not your default, to where you're flying off the handle and screaming and name calling and all that. So in those moments, It's the ability to emotionally detach, push it out from a 10,000 foot perspective, look at it from an emotionally unattached point of view, and just simple questions. What is this? Where did this come from? What am I missing? What's really being communicated here? What's genuinely being communicated? Without getting defensive, because if it has to do with you as the individual, naturally you want to jump to the defensive posture, start trying to disprove, and then that's where you lose it. That's where it's lost. And I know guys, say, and I believe this too, that, you don't tolerate disrespect. And that's true, you don't. In a long-term relationship with a woman you're with for a long time, shit's gonna happen sometimes. And look, you can't end the fucking, people say walk away. You can't end a relationship over some snot-ass comment or her being in a mood and then telling you something that upset you and hurt your feelings, and then that's it, it's over. That's not how it works. It's not how it works. And nobody even semi-practical would think that that's a solution. So what is the solution? That's what I just said. And because here's the position in a relationship with a man and woman in terms of, some potential conflict or an exchange, that she will often match your energy. And if you're the one who reacts to her and can't keep your shit together, what do you think's going to happen to her? How do you think she's going to respond to that? Now think of it the other way. I'll tell you how she's going to respond. She's going to get more defensive, more loud, more emotional, more charged up. And then it just becomes a fruitless endeavor at this point. Now you're both in a fucking screaming match. You're saying ugly shit you don't mean. You're potentially saying some things that cut deep and you can't take back. This is why it's so important to be able to check yourself in these moments and to stay mentally and emotionally regulated. And it's so important that in these heated moments that you can bring yourself out of the emotion of it and look at it from an objective perspective and say, what's really being communicated here? What's trying to be communicated? What's being said? What's underlying? Like, what's really going on here? And I guarantee you, if you can keep your cool for a few minutes, dial it back, which sometimes it's I forget the name of the breath, but it's a breathing exercise that automatically turns off your fight or flight. I forget the name, I forget the breath. Shit. It's on the tip of my, I'll just show you what it is. Big deep breath in through the nose. One quick one, and a sigh. And you don't have to do the sigh that loud, but if you get to, do it like that. What that does is immediately shuts down your fight or flight response. Because that's all that happens when we get charged up. We're getting fight, flight, or freeze. When we feel like we're in a place where we got our back against the wall, we're going to fight. And this is where it all comes undone. This is where it falls apart. Because now, I can tell you with the utmost certainty, nothing's getting resolved in that moment. And the only thing that can happen is it's going to get worse. And you only leave the door open for the potential of something being said or done that you can't unsay or undo. And if you're doing it from an emotionally charged place, it's not going to be good. Even if it means taking that breath, shutting it down for a second, being able to say, hey, look, I'm sensing something about to go a little crazy here. Why don't you go cool off? I'm going to go cool off. We'll come back and talk about it. Or say, hey, look, I'm getting a little charged up. And I really want to listen to what you have to say. I'm not in a state of mind right now where I can give you that. Give me a few minutes and I'll come back to you. We'll finish up. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. You didn't lose. You immediately de-escalate the situation, disarm the other person, and then put yourself in a better position to effectively come to resolution about something that needs resolution. That's the only way. I can guarantee you, because I've made the mistake. I've done it recently. I ain't bullshitting, y'all. Look, I'm not. People think, YouTube, we have good stuff to say, that we don't have normal lives like everyday human beings, and our relationships aren't, picture perfect social media relationships. We wear matching clothes and take perfect pictures and, all that bullshit. I have a real life. I have a real relationship. I have real stress. I have real things that I battle on my own every day. It just so happens that through the life I've led and the path I've taken, I have an ability to do things differently than I would have in the past. So when I say these things in the scenarios and the topics and is all from a place of experience, actual real-time battlefield tested shit. This stuff isn't because I watch YouTube videos and I read a couple books. So once emotions are involved and you've crossed that line into defensive mode, shut it down. Shut it down immediately, because past that point, nothing's getting done, y'all. You're not getting anything done. But if it keeps going, it's not going to get better. It gets worse. Nothing gets resolved. Neither person feels understood. Neither person feels heard. Both people feel attacked, and both people are hurt now. And you don't know how bad it can get. People can say, oh, I wouldn't let it. You don't know that. You don't know what you'd let it get to, because you don't know where it's going. And then once you've crossed that line from listening to on the defense, you're not even listening anymore. The only thing you're doing is coming up with your arguments to fire back at them. That's all. And then both people at that point are beyond reason, beyond resolution. So take your breath, back it down, reconvene, keep your center. If that means you got to step back, step back. Come back with your best foot forward. Because when something does arise, some conflict, it's because one or both people are feeling misunderstood, underappreciated, undervalued, something along those lines. And ultimately, when something comes up, you want to walk away like, whew, okay, that's better. You want to hear your woman say, thank you for listening, baby. And you want to, that's when you know it's been resolved. Thank you for listening. I don't know where that came from. That's when you know you've done something. And that's the only way you're going to accomplish that, is if you're in that state. What a woman doesn't need is the man starting to act like her when she tries to come to him for something. And look, women, it's female nature. Sometimes they genuinely can't help coming at you pissed off and feeling, because usually things build up in a woman's head before they say something. They've thought about it for a day or so, and they're replaying it, and they're getting themselves worked up. So when they come to you, they're not coming to you in the most pleasant terms at all times. It's the conversation or the situation may not start out, hey baby, I have something to talk about, or I have something I want to get off my chest. it's likely going to come out, hello. You're like, hey, what's something wrong? Nope, nothing's wrong. Yeah, something's bothering you. Oh, you really want to know? Well, here's what happened. And I thought about this. And you're like, whoa. If you're with somebody for a while, you know exactly when they're pissed off. You don't know what's bothering them, but you know something's bothering. And you know why I'm telling you all this? Because I had this happen today. And you know why else I'm telling you? Because initially, I didn't handle it like I should have. I'll give y'all the short version. Something happened the other day, some words were said. We both gave an apology that evening. It resurfaced yesterday at some point, and now I was confronted about it. Just the way I told you. Just the way I told you it happened. I got the phone, I called her, got the hello. Like, I know, I could tell by the tone of that woman's voice when she's pissed off about something. And guess what? I wasn't in the best possible mental and emotional position in the middle of a work day, jumping from one thing to the next, answering phones, picking up money, dropping off checks, billing people, doing all this. I wasn't in the right space to address that at the moment. And I didn't say, all right. I didn't tell her, look, I'm not at that place right now. You want a way to do something? Go think about it. I'm going to unwind a little bit, then I'll call you back. And we can talk about it when I'm in a better headspace. I didn't do that. It didn't get terrible. Fortunately, I'm in a place where I can recognize, and it was only a few minutes long conversation. And we both got pulled in another direction. And I thought about it. It's like, did I handle that as best as I could? No, I did not. What could I have done differently? So, well, I could have done what I tell people to do. Just emotionally detach, take a step back, and listen, and respond accordingly. Because sometimes, fellas, there's not even a response necessary. Sometimes there's not even a response. Sometimes you just need to listen and respond calmly and intelligently. And then what? She can't stay mad. She was able to just say what she had to say, and she feels heard and understood. And you did a great job. Now she knows she has a safe place to come to, even if she's bothered at something that seems small to her, that she can come to you and you're not going to bite her head off. You're not going to start acting like her. Because the last thing a woman wants is a man start acting like a woman when they're acting like a woman. You know what I mean? Like you're going to rescue somebody drowning. You know, you're going to rescue a drowning person. You got to stay calm because that person's panicking. And you have no good. If you start acting like them, you're both going to pull each other underwater and you're both going to die. Same concept. You can't have two people drowning that are panicking. And this case, as the masculine role in the relationship, it's up to you to be the calm, the one seeking resolution.